Okay, everyone, here is what I'm starting with. It's quite a shallow box, and it's you know, you want to be able to get in the sides. It has this handy thing which I can't open. Hang on. It's quite stiff to open on the top, and I think you're meant to put something in there, like an essential oil or something to help your keep your clothes smell nice if you store them in here. But I think this will be a good container. Once I've done the acrylic pour, I could just put this lid on to keep it dust free while it dries, but I could leave this open so that the air can flow in and out. So I don't know, might not need that, but I thought that's quite a handy thing to have. And then the top clips down or lifts off, and I'm starting with, I don't know if you've seen one of my intro videos, I think it was 2 videos ago, where I literally bought some cheap pre-mixed pouring acrylic paints so that I didn't have to go and buy the Floetrol and get all bogged down in the measurements first until I decide if I like it and I want to do some more. So if you watched that, sorry, I'm going to repeat myself here. I got a black, a white, a gold and a coppery bronze colour. That is by Montmartre Celestial. And then I got, again, same Montmartre pouring acrylic paint in another gold, a lovely light blue, an aqua and a deeper blue, and that's called Golden Beach. So, and you know, you could mix them up to get variation of colour. And then from my existing stash of paints, I've got some really nice, some like a pearlescent tint in some interference colours in shimmering green, shimmering red, shimmering blue and shimmering gold, except the lid bust when I tried to screw it on a while ago, so it feels squidgy, so I don't think it's dried out. I won't use all of those, I'll have a play. And I've also got some mica powders, again only cheap ones from Amazon, so I'll have a little play with the different paints. I've got some plastic cups to mix them in and pour from, and some spoons to do the mixing, disposable ones. I've got some silicone ones on order, so I don't have to keep using plastics. And then I already had just these 2 canvases in my cupboard, so in case I really got carried away, I went and bought a couple more cheap ones from the local Chinese shop. And then I got a little thing here so I can spritz. Well, initially I was going to do, there's a method where you get a piece of kitchen towel, spritz it with water so it's slightly damp, and sort of swish it across. But also I thought it might be quite fun to use if you had like, I might need to get another bottle, because if you use alcohol inks and then you spritz alcohol, it might do something funky. I thought that'd be a good trial, but do not obviously use one of those blow torches, then you could end up with a really bad situation. But initially I'm going to use this for water to spritz on the kitchen towel. So this is all I'm starting with, and because I'm in my shiny new studio, I really wanted a container with sides so I can make the mess in there and hopefully not get it anywhere else. So I'm going to go and find some gloves, because I think they're a bit harder to find, packed away somewhere, and then we'll switch to the overhead camera and we'll have some experimenting fun. And I've never done this before, so this will be really interesting. Okay, so the first thing I did was cover my canvas in white paint, ordinary white acrylic paint out of the tube, because I didn't think I had enough white of the pre-mixed pouring stuff just to pour on there. So I thought, well, I'll paint it white, leave it wet, and hopefully the paint that the pouring paint will move on it. So that's definitely I don't think recommended, or I don't know if people have done that, but I'm not saying it's a good thing either. This is just me making it up as I go along. So I left that, I didn't bother waiting for it to dry, I left it wet, and then I carried on with my pouring paints. So the next thing I did was dispense some of the paints into plastic cups so I could add a couple of drops of silicone and mix that up to get cells. I mixed two colours together to get a mid-tone, and I put some mica powder in that one to give it a little bit of a luster. And I used the pouring white paint without any silicone oil. And this is one of the sort of very simple, straightforward swipes. So you kind of layer the colours and then you damp the kitchen towel and pull it over the top of them. So all I'm doing is putting the colours on and gradually getting lighter as I come down the canvas. I'll speed this next bit up. And then I went in with the spoon and thought, I don't like the blobs, I want to make more stripes. And I don't know if I was in danger of almost mixing the colours here, but again, don't do what I'm doing necessarily. This was just me. I like to get a feel of the materials first and see what can go wrong, and then maybe try and do it right. So the next thing I do is just get a piece of kitchen towel, and I've spritzed it so it's slightly damp on the end, and I drag the dark over all the other colours. And then this looked horrifically like too much dark to me, but there we are. Too late to go back on that. And I didn't find my gloves, so I'm now going to get my hands covered in paint. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what we do now. I'm pouring it back. You can just see there, the paint is moving back down over the canvas because some of the white showed through. So I'm gently pouring that back. And because I only did this sort of on a damp white painted canvas, if I'd put a sort of one solid colour underneath and then done all the paints on top, the paint would be moving much quicker, I guess. But I'm just kind of going with what I've got right now. So I thought, well, I'll just shift it around a bit. And you can see some of the colours just starting to come through, like that's the silicone is sort of rising up and bringing the colours through the dark now, which is what I wanted. I wanted the contrast of the dark and the light, so that was looking promising at this stage. And I've got paint on my fingers. And I'm just sort of touching up some paint along the sides so that hopefully the paint will then flow off better if there's already wet paint on the sides. And it doesn't really matter what colour. This, I kind of wrote this canvas off as an experimental piece. So now I'm coming in with the blowtorch, and the idea of this is just to release the surface tension and heat up the paint or the silicone so the cells expand. And it almost looked like a starry night at this point. I certainly haven't got the big massive cells that some people get, and you have to just be careful not to cook your paint. So you're meant to do it very quickly, and I probably overdid it, but I am just experimenting. So I did that and then thought, okay, what do I do next? And I decided that it was just too dark for my liking, so I thought, I wonder what happens if you swipe the other way and take some of this blue back off. And I haven't got a clue if that's like the one unspoken rule is don't go back the other way, or if it's okay, I don't know. So now you see I'm really getting into it. I'm swiping backwards several times and then not even using a clean bit of kitchen towel, and then going back and doing it slightly wiggly. But I thought, oh, that's much better now. I like the colours in there. So back in with the blowtorch, see if we can get some cells to come up, and we can. Have to point out, the silicone I'm using now, I just took out of Rod's toolbox. It's like a WD-40 silicone spray. I have since ordered some proper silicone from Pebeo, just so I'm not using an industrial strength one. I don't know if that will make a difference, but it kind of worked in this, but not as much as I was hoping. So then I thought, this is a little too bland for my liking. What happens if I do an acrylic pour on top of an already wet acrylic pour? So I had some mixture, paint mix left over. So I thought, well, I'll just go in now and put some colours in the middle and see what we can do with those. So straight in now with the gold, no silicone. And I just keep pouring the colours in. And then I get a palette knife and I decide to just drag the colours through each other out across the canvas. I probably should clean the palette knife off every time. And I'm like, not really loving that so much. So now I get some strips of kitchen towel and spritz those. And I kind of go into the centre and pull out across to the sides. See if I can get any more interesting effects. I quite like that. But now I need a clean strip for every swipe, so I'll speed this bit up again. And then I go in with some dry kitchen towel and swipe again. And then the gods of acrylic pouring bring me my karma, and I accidentally drop the tissue and it creates a line. But then I thought, okay, I quite like that line. I'm going to make a lot more lines. So I come in with the heat torch again, and you can see the tiny little cells all pop up everywhere. I quite like the striations I've got. They're reminding me of a kind of some geological mineral. And I'm getting bigger cells, so I'm quite liking that. And then I decide I haven't messed it up quite enough, so I'm going to go in with a spoon and just drag it across to get even more paint mixing together, moving and splodging it. I'm amazed I didn't end up with one just big canvas of mixed up acrylic paint, one colour. I just couldn't stop playing with it. And that's the thing, isn't it? It's knowing when to stop. But at this point, I wasn't ready to stop, so I carried on with the spoon. And then I thought I'd use one of my clay sculpting tools that's kind of a loop at the end, and use that and drag that through the paint, creating swirls, because I saw someone do it on YouTube, so I figured why not. So I go, and that has a really nice effect of pulling the different colours through each other, so I then decided to do that all over the whole thing. And then I decided to do some more damp kitchen towel swipes. This canvas has had the what's it swiped out of it. I just can't stop it. And then I'm back in with the spoon. I'm dreading how this is going to turn out. But this is the final bit of tweaking, and then I just leave it to dry. So let's see how it dried.